I had been secretly dating my best friend's sister for 7 years. 7 years of keeping quiet. 7 years of choosing patience over pride. 7 years of believing that if I loved her hard enough, sincerely enough, eventually she would choose me completely. On the day we finally decided to go public, everything fell apart. She got scratched by my dog, Betty, a golden retriever I'd raised since she was a puppy. 8 years together. Gentle, affectionate, the kind of dog that flinched if you raised your voice. She'd never hurt anyone before. Not once. Jenna was beside herself with guilt. "It's fine," I told her. "I'm H. It looks like we'll just have to delay telling everyone for a bit." 3 days later, I cut a business trip short. I wanted to surprise her. I brought her special bone broth I'd had made just for her injury. I was already rehearsing what I'd say, imagining her smile, imagining the way she'd lean into me and say I didn't need to rush back. Instead, I saw everything. Security footage doesn't lie. They were wrapped around each other before the elevator doors even fully opened. Hands everywhere. Mouths too close. Familiar in a way that made my stomach drop. "He must be starving you," the man smirked. Jenna laughed, a soft, girlish purr that I had always thought was just for me. "Besides you," she said lightly. "Who else could ever make me full?" My world tilted. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked away, pulled out my phone, and called my best friend. "Hey," I said quietly, my voice steady in a way that surprised even me. "You mentioned setting me up with someone a while back. Is that offer still on the table?" There was a pause. "Whoa," Ryan laughed. "The eternal bachelor finally sees the light?" "Of course it is. I'll set something up." "Give me a couple of days," I said. "I've got some things to take care of first." I hung up and felt hollow. I had fallen for his sister, Jenna Sullivan, the first time I saw her. I'd been young and stupid enough to announce it to everyone, loudly, confidently, like love was something you could win through sheer force of will. Ryan had warned me back then. "Dude, forget it," he'd said. My sister's still hung up on her first love, the one that got away. Every relationship after him has been a mess. As your friend, I'm telling you, don't even go there. I hadn't believed him. I thought sincerity could beat ghosts. I thought devotion mattered. I thought standing in front of her every day meant more than a memory. I was wrong. 7 years of love meant nothing the moment the prodigal ex wandered back into her life. I drove home in a daze, moving like my body had forgotten how to operate properly. The moment I walked into my condo, I heard frantic scratching. Betty was locked in the study. She hated closed doors. Jenna knew that. I let her out, and she bolted straight for the couch, barking nonstop. Not playful, not excited, agitated, confused. I knelt down. That's when I saw them. Wads of used tissues stuffed deep under the sofa, like someone had tried and failed to hide them. I had bought this condo at the beginning of the year. Every renovation, every piece of furniture, every color on the walls, chosen with Jenna in mind. I'd even picked a place just a few miles from her office. And this was what it had become. Jenna and Caleb. In our home. As I stroked Betty's head, something clicked. My gentle dog hadn't suddenly become aggressive. A stranger had come into her territory. Jenna didn't come home until late that night. She jumped when she saw me sitting in the dark. "Aren't you supposed to be out of town?" she asked. Panic flashed across her face. Betty lay at my feet, eyes half-lidded, not even bothering to wag her tail at Jenna. "Came back early," I said flatly. If I hadn't, I would have missed the performance of a lifetime. She noticed the container of bone broth on the table and smiled sweetly. "Is this for me?" "Luke, you're so good to me." She limped to the kitchen. "It's cold, what a shame. I'll heat it up. Have you eaten? I can make you soup." Everything was normal. Too normal. Then her phone played a voice note. "Hey, Wildcat. You home yet?" Jenna coughed loudly, scrambling. "These TikToks are getting so trashy," she said. My chest tightened. I had always thought she was innocent. Almost conservative. I never imagined she could lie so smoothly. She set a bowl of tomato soup in front of me. "Your favorite." I looked into her eyes, searching for cracks. "Jenna," I said calmly, A friend of mine just found out his girlfriend's cheating. He's devastated. What do you think he should do?" Her face twisted into righteous fury. "That's disgusting. Cheaters deserve nothing. They should be dumped immediately. People like that don't deserve happiness." She had no idea I was talking about myself. I took 2 bites. That was all I could manage. When I stood up, I tripped, fell, and smashed my forehead against the table. Blood poured down my face. She screamed and called 911. At the hospital, the doctor said I was just exhausted. "I'll stay," Jenna promised, worry etched into her face. Then her phone rang. She glanced at the screen and hurried out. She never came back. I walked home alone. In the hallway, I saw them, Jenna and Caleb, whispering. "I heard you were hospitalized," he murmured. "I was so worried." She pouted. "It's your fault. It hurts to walk." He smiled, pleased. "That's why I rushed over." He glanced behind her. "Who was that guy earlier?" "Oh," she said easily, "just a family friend. He fell at home." "What an idiot." "Don't say that," she giggled. "You're so mean." Their whispers turned obscene. I remembered when she cried over a cut on my head years ago. It had all been a lie. I wasn't her partner. I was her placeholder. I went home and started packing. When Jenna walked in, she froze. "What are you doing?" "Caleb's back," I said. "I'm making room." She stammered. "Why are you being jealous?" "He's depressed." I just felt sorry for him. I looked at her. "I'm letting you go." Her phone rang. "Caleb." "I got us a hotel room," his voice purred. She hung up and looked at me. "Something came up at work," she lied. "I love you." She left. I dropped Betty at my parents' house, checked into a hotel, and blocked her number. The world finally went quiet. Ryan set me up on a date. Claire Linwood, my childhood classmate. Elegant, poised, unrecognizable. Ryan laughed. "She's my cousin." Then he spotted Jenna and Caleb across the room. Ryan teased Caleb. I stayed silent. It was their family drama. It had nothing to do with me anymore. "Luke, you and Claire have a nice chat," Ryan said suddenly. "I'm not going to be a third wheel. I'll go sit with my sister." Before I could stop him, he grabbed a chair and dropped himself right at Jenna's table, looking fully prepared to pick a fight with Caleb. Jenna heard her brother and snapped her head toward me. Her eyes were a volatile mix of shock and fury. "Luke is on a blind date?" she demanded. The question was aimed at Ryan, but she never stopped staring at me. "Yeah," Ryan replied casually. "You know Claire, right?" "My cousin. Luke's probably going to be your cousin-in-law soon." I refused to get pulled into it. I turned back to Claire and forced a smile. Small world, huh? She was my date, after all. I wasn't going to be rude. But Jenna stood up. She picked up her glass of iced tea and walked straight over to our table. "Claire," she said sweetly, "long time no see. You look amazing." Her smile never reached her eyes. The next second, the iced tea tipped forward, straight onto my shirt. Cold liquid soaked through the fabric. With my clothes drenched, I had no choice but to excuse myself and head to the restroom to clean up. Of course, Jenna followed me. The moment the door closed behind us, she rounded on me. "Luke," she demanded, her voice shaking, "is this why you broke up with me? So you could go on dates?" Her eyes were red, as if I were the one who had betrayed 7 years together. "I'm single now," I said evenly, scrubbing uselessly at the stain. "Is there a problem with me dating?" The tea stain wouldn't come out. I finally gave up, set my jacket by the sink, and turned to face her. She looked every bit the picture of a wronged woman. "Is it because you're jealous of Caleb?" she asked quickly. "I can cut him off if that's what you want." She said it like she was offering some grand sacrifice. "You've already done everything you shouldn't have," I replied flatly. She faltered. "What's the problem? Was he not good enough?" The memory of their sleazy whispers made my stomach churn. She went silent. "Or how about this?" I continued. "Let's go back out there right now and tell everyone we've been together for 7 years. In front of your brother. In front of Caleb. Are you willing to do that?" Her face drained of color. "If my brother found out," she whispered, "he'd kill me." The same excuse. Our entire 7-year relationship had been hidden because she claimed she was afraid of Ryan's reaction. For years, I'd never understood why. I'd even wondered if there was something wrong with me, if I wasn't good enough to be acknowledged publicly. Now I knew the truth. I wasn't her partner. I was Caleb's stand-in, unworthy of a public identity. There's no point talking about this, I said coldly. We should go back before your brother and Caleb get suspicious. My sarcasm wasn't even subtle. I picked up my stained jacket and walked out. Back at the table, I acted as if nothing had happened and continued talking with Claire. I refused to give Jenna the satisfaction of seeing me shaken. After dinner, I stood up to walk Claire home. Caleb rose from his seat and followed me, calling my name. I asked Claire to wait for me outside. Caleb didn't waste time. I'm sure you know everything about me and Jenna by now, he said. I glanced at him, and he smirked. He knew. He'd known all along. I've seen pictures of you too, he continued, sneering. On Jenna's phone. Take a good look in the mirror. She was only with you because she was bored and lonely. Now that I'm back, you need to disappear. He stood there like a street punk who thought he'd won some prize. Then I wish you both the best, I replied calmly. That clearly wasn't the reaction he wanted. He stepped closer, pushing harder. She wouldn't even let people know you existed for 7 years because you're embarrassing, he said cruelly. But the moment I came back, she climbed into my bed at my hotel, begged me not to use a condom. My jaw tightened. You know what she said, he continued smugly. She said she wanted my baby, that she never stopped thinking about me. I looked straight at him and said evenly, "Oh, she told me the same thing." He blinked. The only reason it never happened, I went on, was because I respected her. I wanted to wait until our relationship was public. Then I was going to propose. She would have become Mrs. Peterson. I was planning to buy her a bigger house, put her name on it, and start a family together. I met his eyes. Maybe fate decided she didn't deserve any of that. That's why it let me find out about her affair. I gave a small nod. I hope you have a beautiful baby. Caleb had come to gloat. Instead, he found nothing to tear apart. Luke, he called after me, frustrated. Don't you want to know what Jenna says about you behind your back? I stopped walking. Not really. Outside the restaurant, my mood finally collapsed. Claire noticed immediately. I'm a really good listener, she said gently. If you ever want to talk. I looked at her. Her eyes were kind, intelligent, and full of genuine concern. She hesitated, then took the lead, opening her car door. I know a quiet coffee shop, she added softly. It's too loud in there anyway. And it's obvious you and Jenna were close. But if you don't want to talk, I'll pretend I don't know anything. Claire was like a sunflower, warm, bright, steady. And I needed to vent. So I nodded and got to the car. At the cafe, we clicked instantly. I told her everything. Every year, every compromise, every moment I'd swallowed my pride. She patted my hand. You're a good person, Luke, she said sincerely. Jenna just wasn't lucky enough to deserve you. Her touch lingered a moment too long. When our eyes met, she realized how intimate it was and quickly pulled her hand back, a blush creeping up her cheeks. You've changed a lot since we were kids, she added shyly. Getting it all out made me feel 100 pounds lighter. We talked about everything else, life, work, memories, and even made plans to see each other again. That night, Ryan called. Don't think I don't know what you two were up to, he teased. You left the restaurant together. Claire came home humming, he added. Is it official? I laughed. Not so fast, I said. These things take time. But we might end up family after all. Jenna didn't give up easily. A few days later, she somehow tracked down the hotel I was staying at and caused a scene at the front desk, demanding to see me. I told the staff I didn't want to see her. They hesitated. She's claiming she's pregnant, they said quietly, and says she's looking for the baby's father. My brow furrowed. I didn't want my private life turning into public theater. Let her up, I said. The moment she entered the room, she rushed toward me. Luke, I knew you wouldn't be cruel enough to never see me again. I stepped aside, avoiding her hug. I broke up with Caleb, she blurted out. You blocked me everywhere. I had to tell you in person. I sighed. She grew frantic. We were together for 7 years, she pleaded. Are you really going to throw all that away? Everyone makes mistakes. I was just obsessed with Caleb because he dumped me. Seeing him again, I just wanted to prove I still had power over him. Every word made it worse. I was stupid, she sobbed. I lost a man who loved me more than anyone. He's not fit to shine your shoes. Please forgive me. What do I have to do to make you come back? I shook my head. This isn't negotiable. Jenna, I said quietly, we loved each other once. We both gave 7 years to this. But the outcome is the outcome. She shook violently. I pulled out my phone and played the elevator footage. The kiss. The conversation. Everything. The room fell silent. Her face went pale. How about this? She whispered desperately. You sleep with Claire. Then we're even. We can pretend none of this happened. Had she lost her mind? There was no chance of reconciliation. After that visit, I was completely on edge. My company began expanding internationally, and I volunteered for a 6-month assignment in London. Coincidentally, or maybe not, Claire was sent to London as well. I chose to believe it was destiny. Over those 6 months, Ryan occasionally updated me on Jenna. She married Caleb. His possessiveness became suffocating. They moved out of the condo. Caleb forced her to quit her job. Pregnant and isolated, she stayed home. My sister's brainwashed, Ryan admitted bitterly. The whole family was against the marriage, but she showed up with an ultrasound and forced it. Now he treats her like she owes him her life. I didn't dwell on it, but Ryan would still forward me her Instagram posts, melancholic photos, regret-filled captions, nostalgia dripping through every word. 6 months later, Claire and I returned to the States. We started planning our engagement, and to my complete shock, Jenna showed up at our engagement party. She looked utterly worn down. Her belly was heavy with pregnancy, her face swollen, dark circles etched deep beneath her eyes. She looked nothing like the woman I had loved for 7 years. Ryan spotted his sister, rolled his eyes, grabbed a glass of champagne, and vanished into the crowd without a second glance. Claire leaned closer to me and whispered softly, "Don't provoke her. She's pregnant." "I know," I murmured. Having such a thoughtful fiancé felt like a blessing I didn't deserve. I walked over to Jenna. Seeing her like this stirred a flicker of pity in my chest. "Where's Caleb?" I asked. At the sound of his name, her face collapsed. She broke down sobbing right there. "I regret everything, Luke," she cried. "This is all my karma, isn't it?" I frowned, confused. "You're with the man you never forgot," I said quietly. "Shouldn't you be happy?" Caleb had been the great lost love of her life. 7 years apart. Now married. That was the kind of ending people wrote romance novels about. "He's not a good person," she whispered. Then she looked at me, her eyes desperate, almost childlike. "Luke, I know this is stupid, but do you still love me at all?" Her voice trembled. "I don't even need a title," she rushed on. "I can be your mistress. We had 7 years together. You and Claire have only been together for 6 months. I just want someone to love me, someone to take care of me. Only you ever made me feel safe." I exhaled slowly. "Jenna," I said, "everything you're doing right now just confirms that breaking up with you was the smartest decision I ever made." As we spoke, a sudden commotion erupted across the room. Caleb burst in. In just 6 months, he had gained a shocking amount of weight. His hair was greasy, his clothes wrinkled, his whole presence unkempt and volatile. "You said you were going for a prenatal checkup," he shouted. "But you sneak off to meet your ex." Heads turned. Conversation stopped. I frowned and motioned for security. "And you, Luke," Caleb yelled, pointing at me. "You're no saint either. You say you broke up, but who knows if you're still secretly seeing my wife. She screams your name in her sleep. She even says your name when we're—" Security dragged him away before his vile accusations could fully reach the room. I turned back to Jenna, my voice icy. "This," I said, "is the man you chose." I had chosen to end things with dignity, but that didn't mean I would tolerate humiliation. Jenna panicked. "I can't control him," she sobbed. "He never had depression. That was a lie to get me back. He has a terrible temper. He hits me. He cheats on me. He's a monster." I watched her unravel and felt no satisfaction. only the strange balance of fate settling its accounts. Claire walked over then. The moment Jenna saw her, she lunged forward and grabbed Claire's arm. "Claire, please," she begged. "Give Luke back to me. We're meant to be together. 7 years, 7 years. I can't live without him. If you hadn't shown up, he wouldn't have broken up with me so quickly. You can have any man you want. Please don't take Luke from me. He's all I have left." I stepped forward instinctively, ready to stop her. But Claire gave me a subtle shake of her head. "Jenna," Claire said calmly, her voice steady and composed, "I think you've misunderstood something." Compared to Jenna's desperate, wavering tone, Claire sounded unshakable. "A relationship is built on loyalty. Yes, you were together for 7 years. But you betrayed that relationship. When you were with Caleb, did you ever think about how much you were hurting Luke?" Jenna froze. "He didn't break up with you because of me," Claire continued. "Luke loves deeply, but he has principles. Even after everything, he never spoke badly about you to me. He never tried to turn me against you." She met Jenna's eyes. "Your misery is the result of your own choices." Claire slipped her arm through mine. She looked at Jenna with a mixture of pity and quiet contempt. "Today is our engagement party," she said. "We only welcome guests who came to celebrate with us. And you're pregnant. You should go home and rest." In the distance, Caleb's muffled shouting still echoed. "Your husband is waiting." She turned to me and smiled. "Some friend from London just arrived. Shouldn't we go say hello?" I smiled back. "Of course. Whatever you say." Behind us, Jenna let out a sob that sounded like her heart breaking in half. This time, I didn't turn around. The person who mattered was standing right beside me. After the party, Claire and I sat exhausted in the car. Suddenly, like a magician, she pulled a small, elegant box from her purse and handed it to me. "Your engagement present," she said, smiling mischievously. The more time I spent with Claire, the more I discovered how extraordinary she was. At first glance, she seemed prim and proper, but beneath that was a playful, vibrant spirit. She could be stubborn, but she was always reasonable, always able to see the bigger picture. I opened the box. Inside was half of an old, worn-out eraser. "What's this?" I asked, intrigued. A fleeting shadow crossed her face. "I'll tell you when you remember." No matter how much I pressed, she wouldn't explain. On the day of our wedding photo shoot, we received devastating news. Jenna had miscarried. Ryan called me, sobbing. "Luke, I just found out everything. I know she wronged you. I know she brought this on herself. But can you please go see her? We're preparing to have her committed." Jenna had a history of miscarriages. This pregnancy had been high risk from the start. She and Caleb had fought. He stabbed her with scissors. In her shock, she fell. The baby was gone. The trauma shattered her mind. After the shoot, Claire asked softly, "Do you want to see her?" "Will you come with me?" I asked. She nodded without hesitation. "Of course. She's my cousin too." The hospital parking lot was packed. After circling endlessly, Claire sighed. "You go ahead. I'll wait here." I walked inside alone. I heard crying before I reached the room. "That bastard Caleb, he should rot in jail. No, he deserves the death penalty." Jenna's voice cracked through the hallway. I entered. She sat on the bed, hair tangled, hospital pants at her ankles, clutching her stomach. Her face was streaked with tears. When she saw me, she pulled the blanket up quickly. I stood there silently. "Are you here to laugh at me?" she asked hollowly. I shook my head. "I would never laugh at you." "My baby's gone," she sobbed. "I was so stupid. The man I couldn't forget turned out to be a monster. And I let go of the one person who was truly good to me." She laughed. She cried. Her words spilled without order. A nurse sedated her. A doctor told me she had severe depression and would be transferred to a psychiatric hospital. I left the room. In the hallway, a little girl sat crying on the floor, her workbook scribbled over. A little boy ran over. "What's the big deal?" he said. "You can just erase the ugly stuff." Something clicked. A memory surfaced. School had just ended. Claire was crying at her desk. I had come back from soccer practice. "They don't like me," she'd said. They ruined my homework. I handed her my eraser. Just erase it. Nothing's so bad you can't get past it. At the hospital entrance, Claire waited in her white Porsche. When she saw me, her tired expression vanished. Over here, Luke. She handed me a thermos. Chamomile tea. You get stressed easily. How's Jenna? She asked gently. She kept talking, telling me about Caleb's arrest, his criminal record, his diseases. She always carried my burdens like they were her own. Claire Linwood, I said suddenly. I never imagined you'd grow up so strong. She smiled softly. You remembered. I looked at her. Thank you, I said, for showing up when I needed it most. In the infinite moments of our lives, we would meet again and again.